Welcome back, Minties. This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and today I'm going to show you my haul for the month of April of 2019, so please stay tuned. Okay, so I'm going to kick it off with this huge stack of books here. I'm not going to talk about each one because Maddie, Amanda, and I are going to be reviewing a bunch of these. These all came from Darkstar. He is our sponsor for the segment called Reviews in a Flash, and yeah, so we'll be reading these, so keep an eye out on the channel for those reviews in a flash. We'll show some of the internal artwork and stuff. Very excited to read some of this stuff here. And we will also be reviewing all these books here as well, so we got our work cut out for us. Thank God we are fast readers. Really excited to read some of this stuff that I've been holding out on. I know my buddy Jess is a huge fan of some of this stuff like Joyride and Motor Crush. So excited to finally get to dive in and read that stuff. There's Death, Glory, and Coda. Okay, let's kick it off with the two trade paperbacks I got that collect the Greg Rucka run right before Infinite Crisis. There is a volume 3 coming out, which includes the Sacrifice story. We reviewed both of these on Old Reader, New Reader, if you want to check that out. You know, we go thoroughly through what the story contains. We do talk about spoilers, but man, this is some of my favorite Greg Rucka and some of my favorite Wonder Woman stories ever. Next, I picked up, because of Fangirls Assembled, this book was 50% off at In-Stock Trades, and this is Kelly Thompson's Dr. Aphra, however you want to pronounce it. I ended up really enjoying it, actually. I think it's up there, you know, it's not as good as Darth Vader or Star Wars, but I thought it was really enjoyable. I really enjoyed the art in the first few arcs because that is one of my favorite artists. I'll show you a little bit more here, and that is Kev Walker. Always enjoyed this guy's artwork. It is a hardcover, and this contains issues 1 through 8 and Star Wars 31 and 32, and then the Screaming Citadel, number 1. Oh man, here we go. Here's some stuff I can't wait to talk about. This is Transformers Unicron, Volume 1. This begins the first half of the Unicron storyline that ends the freaking Phase 3, I believe. So if they ever get to it, if IDW ever gets to Phase 3, this will be the final volume, or this will be collected in the final volume. I couldn't wait to read it because it was just so freaking awesome and hard to put down, and so hard to say goodbye to some of these characters. John Barber and Milne draws it, and James Roberts is co-writing it. Actually, no, John Barber did the main Unicron storyline. James Roberts finished out his Lost Light story. So it's all John Barber before it relaunches and everything gets wiped away. Next up is Paper Girls Volume 2, and as you can see, this got a really nice shiny cover. I really think that was cool. I wish they had done the same thing with the first volume, but anyway, this collects issues 11 through 20, and I believe there's going to be one more, and that will be all for Paper Girls because it is over, unfortunately. But yeah, this is what the book looks like. I haven't had a chance to read this yet, but I got captivated by the artwork. We may do this on Reviews in a Flash, but it's got a very manga-ish art with some beautiful colors. Kind of reminds me of some of the artwork from the Flight storyline that I showed off, or the Flight anthologies that I showed off during my book tour. And this is M.F.K. by Neela Magruder. Alright, let's get to some trades here. We have Teen Titans Volume 1, Throttle. It's revamping the Teen Titans, even though it collects issues 20 to 24 in Teen Titans Special. It is labeled as Volume 1 because, you know, DC, they love to confuse us with the numbering system. Alright, now this is what I like to call the color X-Men stack here. By the way, mad shout out to my boy Kyle. He did help me find a bunch of these, and I'll get to those in a second here. But this is X-Men Blue in its entirety, and X-Men Gold in its entirety. Here, let me pull these out here. So this is everything in here. It's issues 1 through 36, including the wedding, annuals, The wedding special, that's what it was. I have a love and hate relationship with X-Men Gold. I tend to, I don't know, it really pulled at my nostalgia heartstrings, but the execution of a lot of these stories were just bland or just really bad. But I enjoyed it more than I did X-Men Blue. So, okay, now all of this is X-Men Blue. There is only 5 trade paperbacks. But you cannot forget this here, the Venom crossover, the Poison X, because it contains 2 issues in there of X-Men Blue. And so it's 1 through 36 in the annual. And here we go. I don't know. For the most part, I enjoyed X-Men Gold more, but X-Men Blue was okay. I think by this time I was just really tired of the original 5 being in this timeline, and then it introduced the Ultimate Wolverine character, the son of Wolverine, and I don't know. I just really didn't care about the characters in here, but I finished it out because I wanted to continue and keep reading and get caught up until the new Uncanny X-Men that just recently dropped. And then we have X-Men Black. This collects a series of one-shots, hit and miss. Some are really good, some are actually pretty damn good, and some are okay. And then one that I just didn't care for. Written by anybody from Chris Claremont to Sean McGuire and the likes of Robbie Thompson. Yeah, so there's 5 little one-shots in here. And the art, changes in between each one of these. Then we have the event that leads up to Uncanny X-Men. And this is the Extermination 5-issue miniseries that kills off some characters and gets rid of the original 5 so we can revamp the storyline and kick off a new weekly Uncanny X-Men that they're charging $40 for the first trade paperback, which collects the first 10 issues. But man, the art is just amazing. I'm really surprised that they didn't do this in an oversized format, because I'm a huge fan of Pepe Larraz. I love his artwork. And he is the new ongoing artist in one of the Jonathan Hickman books that he's doing. One of the new X-Men Jonathan Hickman books. Moving on to DC, we have Justice League Volume 1, the Deluxe Edition. Okay, not sure if you guys can see over there, but you see all the Rebirth stuff that I have, right? Yeah. See how that one blue stands out? Well, they couldn't give us a blue spine, so they gave us a black one. Whatever, I'm okay with it. This collects the Christopher Priest run on Justice League with art by Pete Woods. So collecting issues 34 to 43, continuing the horrible Brian Hitch storyline that ended up actually okay. Better than it started. But this, I haven't read any of this, but I'm a huge fan of Christopher Priest. Love his Black Panther and his run on Deathstroke and Deadpool. So, pretty excited to read this. Well, at least they decided to stay consistent with one of them. This is Batman Detective Comics, the Deluxe Hardcover Edition, Volume 4. Let's look at this real quick. Now, this collects the final issues of James Tynion's run, and it collects Detective Comics 974 to 982. Artwork by Eddie Barrows. I can't remember who else is the artist on here, but let's flip through here a little bit. I haven't read... Actually, I don't think I've read any of this yet, so I don't want to flip too much through here. Let's get to the back. Yeah, this is the part I always enjoyed, the variant covers that they collect in the back. So I hope they continue this. I heard, but looking at future solicitations, it looks like the Deluxe hardcover line is being passed up on for this new standard hardcover line. Not a lot of variants in this. So, I don't know. I hope that's not true. Okay, now we have Avengers Epic Volume 23, Fear the Reaper. Collecting what I love to call the leather jacket phase of the Avengers. This kind of kicks it off. This collects Avengers 348 to 359, Annual 26, and then material from the, I believe, Captain America Annual, Thor Annual, and Iron Man Annual that cross over into the Citizen Kang storyline. And yeah, that's how they decided to start it off. But written mainly by Bob Harris, who was the editor-in-chief at Marvel at one time. Believe it or not, this is Herb Trimp right here drawing this. Completely different style. Kirk Jerevin. I always wonder what happened to that guy. Now this right here, this is Steve Epting. He did most of the artwork in here. Let's go back to Steve Epting for a second. No, it's MC Wildman, who has a very similar style. Both graduates of the Joe Kubert Art School. But yeah, this right here, Steve Epting. A lot different than the stuff you're used to seeing, probably like in his recent run in Velvet with Ed Brubaker, or his Captain America run. Yeah, this is probably when he was in his 20s is when he was drawing this stuff. But, you know, I have a special soft spot in my heart for this Avengers. It's not the best Avengers, but I really dig it. All right, Iron Man, Invincible Iron Man Epic Collection. I believe this is Volume 3. Yep, The Man Who Killed Tony Stark. All right, let's flip through here, as I have not read any of this. This is all new to me. Most of this stuff is written by Archie Goodwin here. And let's look just a little bit at this Silver Age storytelling. I know there's a huge fight with the Hulk, because I think I've read that before in some kind of collection. Oh, the Mandarin's still alive. Nobody saw that coming. Yeah, like I said, most of this stuff is written by Archie Goodwin. George Tuska does most of the artwork. Yeah. It's weird. Like, I go back and hey, that's Lucifer. The guy that crushed Professor Xavier's legs. Go back and look at this stuff, and it's surprising the amount of Silver Age Marvel I haven't read. So I'm glad that they're releasing these in this format. All right, here's some stuff from my buddy Kyle that I gave a shout out to. So Dead Souls, New Mutants. This is the 6-issue event that reunites a lot of the members of New Mutants, but also X Factor. Let's flip through here a little bit. And this is artwork by Adam Gorham, and Matthew Rosenberg is the writer on this. I really, really enjoyed this. I couldn't put it down. So there's a lot of things that don't get resolved, though. And I think they continue into his Uncanny X-Men run, because he is now the head writer of Uncanny X-Men. Here, let's not flip too much through here, because a lot of crazy shit happens in this story. But I love how he uses the characters of the New Mutants, and there's something that happens earlier on that I was kind of pissed off about, but he takes back later on. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm glad he fixed that, because I was quite upset when he did that at the beginning. Yeah, so here's some more of that artwork. But yeah, I highly recommend getting this. This was a lot of fun. Now, he also got me, yes, the Clandestine Blood Relative. I think there's 2 hardcovers that are available, but these are out of print. Alan Davis' story, and this is his team of UK heroes, and never got a lot of recognition or love here in America or in comic book stores. I don't know why. So a lot of the time, this story's ended up getting canceled. And now I know at one point, I know there were 2. I think there were 2 one-shots with the X-Men. Try to bump up sales, but sadly it didn't work. Jonathan Hickman, The Nightly News. I don't even know what this is, but he found it, and I'm so glad he sent it my way, because I love Hickman, and I have never heard of this. So I'm excited to read it. It looks like it's really tech-savvy, but I'm okay with that. I don't even know who the artist is on this. Then he gave me this awesome The Life and Art of Alex Toth. Alex Toth was an animator, probably mostly known for Space Ghost, Herculoids, characters like that. But he also did some comic books. And he did a lot of the stories in Eerie and Creepy magazine. I think he did some Batman stuff. But this is really cool. It's just like behind the scenes and stories about him when he was younger. I know there's a slipcase edition that I think has this book and 2 other books with it, but this was just a really nice surprise. I like Alex Toth. I thought his art was amazing, and his character designs were great. It's a pretty big book, too. Alright, moving on to the big books. Now, you guys have seen my overview of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and now let's look at, I don't collect CGC, but my boy Kyle does, and he was like, I know you like X-Men, so I'm going to get you some CGC stuff, and he just had this stuff. This is the 12 storyline, of course. 9.8. I think that's a huge grade, right? And I don't know, like, I'm never going to get rid of these, so I think it was a really nice gesture. Oh, this is the variant cover of Mike Carey's first X-Men. Okay. And then this is one of the covers of Apocalypse the 12. I know there was a variant cover, I think, that Brandon Peterson did. And then this is the Benson sisters on Birds of Prey. And Batgirl on the Birds of Prey. So very cool. Now, what he got me here that I both love and hate him for is the Ghostbusters Hardcovers by IDW. However, Mass Hysteria has gone out of print and it's kind of hard to find. But man, I really enjoy these stories. I read the first hardcover and I enjoyed the artwork and I love the portrayal of the characters. I love how they look. Now, the only time I've ever read the IDW Ghostbuster stuff is when they crossed over with the TMNT. They've had 2 crossovers. But man, now I gotta get the second hardcover, and that thing is kind of a bitch to find. So, if you're out there, you're watching, keep an eye out for me. It's called Mass Hysteria. It's a hardcover. Alright. Thank you very much, by the way. Alright, let's look at the last book here that I knew nothing about until somebody commented on my... it was my book tour episode. This is the slipcase of Red Hand. And they saw that I had a lot of humanoid books, and they were wondering if I had this one, and I was like, no, I don't even know what that is. But I recognize one of the names, and that's Kurt Busiek. By the way, this thing is pretty massive. Here is a League Omnibus. So, as you can tell, yeah, it's quite big. There is a standard edition, I believe, also available, but this is the slipcase edition. Found this through Amazon, through a third-party seller there. Kurt Busiek, you had me at Kurt Busiek. Like, he wrote the first half of this, and I think some of the last part of it, and then you have Mario Alberti on art towards the beginning, and then Bazal towards the end. It's a fantasy-based story from what it looks like, and God, how have I never heard of this? This looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. I love finding books like this, so I really appreciate when somebody in the comments says, hey, you like that, you should try this out. So thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm horrible at... I should have written down who it was that mentioned it, but I'm an idiot and forget to do things like that. So yeah, this is Red Hand by Humanoid Books. I have not read it, so I can't flip too much through here. And some, like I mentioned, some of these books will be reviewed on our Reviews in a Flash segments. And that was everything I picked up for the month of April. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys ended up getting. And as I mentioned in the video, please keep an eye out on the channel for those Reviews in a Flash coming at you probably 2 to 3 or 4 times a week, depending on how much reading we can do. And if this is your first time watching this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like button if you enjoyed what you saw. And if you enjoy the content of our channel, please think about joining our Patreon. We have some exclusive things there, so check that out. It'll be in the description down below. Again, this was Omar. Thank you very much for joining me. And remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint.